Hey guys, this is VideoFort Charlie with another VideoFort tutorial for you. This time we're going to be going over customizing your interface. So go ahead and open your project from last session. And if you remember the interface, you'll remember that there were some tabs, there were some tools, and there were different panels that you can go ahead and click on. Now in this one we're going to go over how you can change those particular panels and tools so that you can make a workspace that works for you. Now under the Windows menu up here, there are a few preset workspaces that you can use, each with its own purpose. And some of these are actually very good, so I'd recommend going ahead and checking them out. You can even start from here and change them to your liking. So first thing is the assembly workspace, which gives you a bigger project panel and a media browser up here, so you can basically browse any media that is on your computer, import that media down here to your project or bin panel. You can view it on the program and source panel over here, and your timeline of course is down there in case you want to actually start putting stuff into your timeline. Next is the audio workspace. Now this, you can see it changes things around quite a bit to give you access to some tools for audio that you normally wouldn't see in some of these other workspaces, such as the audio clip mixer, audio track mixer. You can see that the timeline's still there. All the main tools are still there. It's just that you get access to a few other things that are very audio specific. Next is the color workspace. Now in the color workspace, you can't see it here because we don't have any footage, but you have the Lumetri color effects controls that would show up over here. You will have the scopes show up over here. It just gives you some tools that are very color specific. Once again, these interfaces are obviously meant for these certain things. And then finally, we have our editing workspace, which is where we started. Now you can also create your own workspaces. Notice that if you hover between two panels, you get this double edge icon. This means that now you can adjust the size of these panels by simply dragging them around. This is very helpful when customizing your own workspace. Now, say if you've adjusted the panels in a weird way, you accidentally drag things around and you don't like this configuration. You can always go back to the default by simply going up to Window, Workspaces, and Reset to Save Layout. This will change it back to the original saved layout for that particular workspace. Now to create your own workspace, you can just go back up here to Window, Workspaces, and Save as New Workspace. It'll give you a little prompt to name it. I'm going to just name this one VF Sample. Click on OK. Now you see a little workspace has been added called VF Sample. Nothing has changed because we haven't changed anything here yet. So now, since you have this workspace available, you can start to make your adjustments. So let's say I want to scoot this thing around here, maybe make the timeline a little bit bigger, and squish the Quick Tools panel a little bit. Great. Let's just say that's perfect. I can go now up here to Window, Workspaces, and click on Save Changes to this workspace in order to save those changes. Now if I go to Reset to Save Layout, it'll just go back to this. If I make any changes, go to Reset to Save Layout, it'll go back to that configuration. Now Premiere also offers some cool options to change its appearance. You can go up here to Premiere Pro CC, Preferences, and Appearance. Now, under this you can see there's a brightness slider. I can change the brightness of the interface if I'd like. Maybe I like this more lighter gray color because it's easier on the eyes, or maybe I want it to go full dark. You can go ahead and just slide this around and change that. You can change the highlight color to be a little bit brighter. Say I want just a general brighter interface, maybe a darker or brighter highlight logo. You can make the focus indicators also darker or lighter. Now let's say I've made these changes and I don't want them. I want it just to be default. Well, there's a default button. Click on that for each of these. It'll reset it back to the Premiere Pro CC 2017 default. That's where I'm going to leave it because that's where I like it. I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. Be sure to save whatever you've done if you made any changes, and that is how your interface will be. Now we'll go over tabs, docking, undocking, and grouping. It's important to note that within each panel there are tabs, which allows you to have multiple windows or tools that you can use within a panel. Some of the important ones that you would want to probably keep no matter what workspace you create: the effects control panel, which allows you to change whatever clip you have selected in your sequence. Gives you, opacity, gives you movement controls, all that kind of stuff. And all the effects that you do apply will show up here. The next thing that's good to have around is the media browser. Now this is just like exploring folders in any other interface, Mac, Windows, whatever. You have all of your hard drives over here. You can click on any one of them. You can find footage. Within that, you can see I have a stock footage folder ready for us for when we're ready to import. And the nice thing is you could even scrub through here and see the clips within the media browser without even having to import them. Now the other thing that's good to have is the info window. This just gives you all the info associated with a clip. So in case you need to look up some more advanced information on it, you can click on here. And there's also the markers tab, which is important. We went over this before, but in case you set any markers in your timeline or in source media, it'll show up here so you can navigate to it. Now you can drag and drop tabs into a new location in your workspace. So for example, let's say that I want to take the markers tab and I want to put it right here in the middle so that I have a separate panel altogether just for markers. Well, I can do that by simply clicking this tab and dragging it anywhere that I would like. Now, you see that it highlights several different options here. Now, grouping something basically means adding a new tab to an existing panel. Say I want to add the markers tab, which is here down here in the project panel. I want that to go up here into the source panel. I would simply click and drag straight to the center and release. Now the markers tab is part of this group. All of these are part of the same group. Now that's different than docking something. Docking something is essentially just placing it into its own panel somewhere. So let's say I want to make like I said earlier, I want to make my own markers panel. I would click and drag off to the side here. You can see now it highlights this little sliver. Now I can do that on any one of these, whether it be the top or whether it be the bottom or the side. I can place it anywhere. But I want to place it here. Now you see that it's docked it right there between the program monitor, or I should say the program panel, and the source panel. Now I can also create floating panels by holding Command or Control and dragging a tab to where you want it. So let's just say I want to create a floating panel for the audio clip mixer for whatever reason. I would just hold down Command, drag it, and you see that it just yanks it out to its own individual window. And now I can drag this window to wherever I want. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and keep that grouped with the source panel. So I'm going to click and drag it right into the center here. Now the window menu allows you to add or remove any part of the Premiere interface into your workspace. So let's say I accidentally remove the history tab. Now to do that, just so you guys know, there's little 3 bars next to any tab you click. You just go ahead and click on that, and you can close the panel. That just removes it entirely from your workspace. So let's say I get rid of history, and I get rid of effects. But then I realize, oh wait, I actually need those tools. Well, I can go ahead and just go up to Window, And down here, here's the tools. There's effects. I click that. Now it's back. You'll also notice that there's a check mark next to it now, which means that it is back in my workspace. Now I want history back as well. I just click on that. History's back as well. So you can kind of get a gauge of what's within your workspace by looking at what's in the window menu and seeing what's checkmarked. If I want to add additional tools, I can go ahead and do that. Got time code. I could add events. I could do whatever I really want. It's really highly customizable. And Premiere's made it very easy. You notice that the effects and history tabs just popped right back where they were. That'll happen if you close out of something. Say I drag this out, and it's in its own window, and then I close it out. Well, I want it back. I click on history. It comes back exactly as it last was opened. So you don't have to worry about things getting too jumbled. They will show up back where you were. Premiere is very intuitive in that way. So a helpful tool to make note of is the options panel, which is up here at the very top. You'll see that it just shows all the different layouts or all the different workspaces that are available to you. You can click on assembly, editing, color, etc. They're all there for you for quick access. Now it's important that once you've made changes to your workspace, that you go ahead and save those changes. So let's say I have my markers panel docked up here. I want to add the audio clip mixer to that as well, which you'll notice that I'm actually dragging it up here. You can do that as well. You can either drag it down here to the center or drag it up here at the very top to add it as a tab. You could also kind of move things around so that way they're in the order that you like. So let's say I made all these changes and I want to save them. I just go up to Window, Workspaces, Save Changes to this workspace. And now those changes have been saved. So now if I make any additional changes, scoot things around, remove some stuff, whatever it might be, I just go up to Workspaces, reset to save layout, and it'll reset it to the last saved layout that I had made for this custom workspace. So with all that being said, you should now have the ability to create your own custom workspace. I'd go ahead and, like I said, start with some of the ones that are already preset, kind of explore what they have available, find one that you like, and maybe just start modifying from there. And you can go ahead and create a custom layout that you personally like for your editing. Next, we're going to be going over importing your media so we can start getting into the actual cutting of your piece. For now, this is VideoFort Charlie signing off. It's been good talking to you. You guys have a good one.